It often begins so subtly you do not even know it has started. You meet someone, and on the surface, things feel exciting, maybe even electric. They seem attentive, interested, curious about you in a way that feels rare. But beneath that charm, beneath the flattery and quick connection, something small starts to happen that does not quite sit right. A moment you dismiss, a hesitation you explain away. That moment, however small, is often the quiet red flag that starts the entire cycle. And the tragedy is, we rarely see it for what it is until we are already deep inside the pattern. It might look like them reacting just a little too strongly to a boundary you try to set, or maybe they suddenly go cold after you express a need. It might be the way they give you intense praise one moment, only to disappear or become critical the next. At first you might think, maybe I am being too sensitive, or maybe I misread that, and so you brush it off. You let it slide. You smooth it over, because everything else seems so good and you do not want to risk it. But that moment of self-betrayal, the one where you silence your own instinct, is often the first real sign that something is off. I am Zane, a relationship consultant and psychologist, and today on STR TV, we are going to look at the quiet red flag that often starts the entire cycle, how it hides in plain sight, and how seeing it early can change the whole trajectory of your story. Because when you learn to recognize the earliest signs of emotional manipulation, you give yourself the power to step away before the damage deepens. Number 1. Discomfort you cannot explain. One of the earliest red flags is a subtle but persistent sense of discomfort. You might not have a clear reason for it. Nothing dramatic has happened, but something in your body feels uneasy. Maybe you feel a tightness in your chest after certain conversations. Maybe you find yourself walking on eggshells without realizing it. That discomfort is not random. It is your nervous system responding to subtle inconsistencies, unspoken tension, or emotional unpredictability. While your mind may try to justify it, your body often knows the truth before your brain catches up. Number 2, you start making excuses for them. In the beginning, when something they say or do feels off, you immediately rush to explain it away. They are just stressed, you tell yourself. Or, they did not mean it like that. You'd find yourself justifying behaviors that hurt or confuse you, because you were still holding on to the image of who you hoped they were. But that constant need to reinterpret their actions in a more flattering light is often your first clue that the connection is not as safe as it seems. Number 3, they struggle with accountability early on. If you bring up something that hurt you even gently, they deflect. They might joke it away, dismiss it, or flip the script entirely. Suddenly, you are comforting them, or explaining yourself, or wondering if you were too harsh. This early inability to own impact even on a small scale is a warning, because relationships built on emotional safety do not require perfection, but they do require accountability. Number 4, your voice starts to shrink. Without even noticing, you begin to edit yourself. You stop sharing certain thoughts, or you hesitate before bringing up something that matters to you. It's not because they told you to, but because something in their reactions trained you to. That shrinking, that quiet retreat from your own voice, is often the earliest sign that your truth is not welcome. Damn, and the longer it goes on, the harder it becomes to find your way back. Number 5, the connection feels intense, but unstable. Things move fast. The emotions are high. The conversations feel deep, maybe even spiritual. But underneath all that intensity is a lack of real stability. Plans change last minute. Boundaries are pushed. You feel adored and confused all at once. That emotional whiplash is not romance. It is a signal. Because real connection builds slowly with trust and consistency. When it starts with chaos, it often ends with harm. Have you ever looked back and realized there was a quiet red flag you ignored early on? What did it look like for you? Share your story in the comments. I always read them. And if this helped you see something in your past a little more clearly, subscribe to STR TV. Because here we talk about the early truths, the ones that could have saved us a lot of pain, if we had known how to listen. Next time we will talk about what happens when a narcissist pretends to take accountability and why it feels so real, even when it is not.